Hello and welcome to the absolute worst I have ever goofed. Around this time last year, I saw a viral TikTok of a pumpkin in a glass jar that was sealed, and then it was a time lapse over the course of a whole year, and the pumpkin neatly and perfectly decomposed into what looked like new potting soil, and then the seeds within the pumpkin all germinated and sprouted. I looked at the phone and out loud I said, "Oh, what a load of horse shit." I immediately looked around and my house happened to have a few decorative gourds strewn about as 'twas the season, and I decided I'm gonna test this for myself. And because I am both curious and a bit of a jerk, I'm just gonna find out for myself. Yeah, and you think my setup now is crusty. Also, I was recording in the dining room because I thought everyone in my household was out. I didn't realize anyone was home. And then my roommate walked in and I was terribly embarrassed. And two of them, hi. No, you're good. You're good. I really should have said something first. It just, how could that be? How could it be so perfect closed system? There were no bugs to compost it. There was no mycelium in there. There were no worms. So I got a jar, a big ass jar, and I'm gonna do it in a year check-in. So my skepticism was rooted in the following. Number one, soil is not just decomposed plant matter. There's all sorts of stuff in soil. There's the decomposed plant matter itself, of course, but then there's little bugs, there's microbes, there's little bug poops and fungi and all sorts of other freaks that are welcome to the party. Number two, what are the odds the pumpkin happened to have the exact right fungi on its rind that you got from the store for it to decompose in this ideal manner? Number three, the one I most hung up on, it's an anaerobic environment. The jar is sealed. Whatever gases are in there, assuming it's a well-sealed jar, that's all that's in there. There's no exchange of oxygen and CO2. The bugs and some of the microbes need oxygen. And plants, as we all know, they need CO2. But those things are not happening at the same time. There's hypothetically months where all the oxygen is being used up. Number four, this is kind of like viviparity. Viviparity. And besides the fact that it is the final boss of trypophobia, it's generally not something that you bring about deliberately. It's something of a fluke. And number five, it was a neat and tidy claim I saw on TikTok involving science. I'm skeptical of all of those. Follow me on Clockout, by the way. So I set up my little replica, stated my expectations at the start, and I even had something of a control group. I had the one in the seal jar, and then I had two other pumpkins that were just from around the house, and I just put them in my fungus bucket. Yeah, I have a fungus bucket. No, I'm not doing well. There's my starting conditions. Time to start the clock. Aren't I a good little citizen scientist? So here's where things start to take a turn. By about month 2 of the decomposing pumpkin in a jar that I had on the windowsill, it was so gross, it was stimulating the gag reflex in everyone who walked by and caught a glimpse of it. And I have 3 housemates because life is hard and I'm very bad at jobs. And God bless them, my housemates really do put up with my experiment shenanigans. I'm running all manner of things around the house, usually unlabeled, and I generally forget to tell them about it. But they do have their limits. Their patience is not limitless. So I decided, all right, I've got to put this away somewhere. And I decided to put the sealed experiment jar into the fungus bucket. So now I've already messed up the experiment. I have changed the conditions midway through. The original video that I saw showed a whole year time lapse, exposed to the day-night cycle the whole time. So already I'm not passing peer review on this one. But that problem is small potatoes compared to what you have already realized. I completely forgot about the whole thing. Last time I checked on it was in January. Look, there it is. Pretty gross. So from January until yesterday, I haven't opened the bucket. I just forgot completely out of my brain. Not only am I confident that this experiment did not work, that it did not perfectly decompose down into potting soil and then germinated perfect little pumpkin sprouts, I'm pretty sure whatever I find in there will be akin to fresh horrors heretofore unimagined in my sweet little mind. It may turn me off of hobbyist mycology for good. Okay. I'm scared to breathe. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I'm not having fun. I'm not having fun. Okay. 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 There are some animals in here. There's things from the kingdom Animalia. There's some bugs. And I wasn't expecting that. I don't know where they came from. Holy shit. Oh, I hate myself so much. Oh my god. So it turned into wet. It just turned into wet sludge. No, it most certainly did not germinate. But again, that's my fault. While my self-esteem was improving, I have earned the name of my channel in the worst way. Now, as humiliating as this is, that for the better part of a year, I had 3 festering gourds a foot away from me every time I sat at my desk, it would seem I, your devoted, off-kilter, internet talk clown, may have misunderstood the original TikTok. Because when I went back to get a screen grab of me scrolling through all the various copycat videos all claiming an impossible thing, as happens on TikTok all the time, they looked different than I remembered. First of all, they all start with soil as the initial starting condition, and that's already so much better. It's no longer stimulating my spidey sense of suspicion. But several accounts go further. In fact, they show their initial setup in great detail, explain how they did it, what they expect to happen. They take progress update, photo and video, and it's very compelling, actually, and quite engaging, and would actually make for a great educational tool. Which makes sense, because that's what this is. This is a companion experiment to an assigned book, an assigned picture book for kindergartners. It's called Pumpkin Jack. All right, so we've reached new heights of humiliation here, and by we, I mean me. I have truly summited Mount Idiot here. I am quite possibly as colossal a reactionary moron as one can be. I was so quick to just shout wrong, nuh-uh, fake, that I didn't look very closely. I didn't check to see if there was description notes. I didn't read any comments. I didn't investigate the credibility of any accounts. No, I didn't do any of that. I saw the video, put the phone down, and flew right off the handle. And what's most frustrating of all is that somehow I didn't save the original video I saw. That's why I did a cute little animation at the beginning. It wasn't to prevent from someone from like going and being mean to this person on TikTok, although I would have done that as well. I would have blurred their username. No, it was because I can't find the video. Either this video was never that viral to start with. It has since been deleted or privated. Or I just fever dreamed this whole thing up after a few too many gourd spores passed my blood-brain barrier. Also, I just assumed that the jar was sealed. That wasn't stated anywhere. That's not stated in any of them. You have to burp it occasionally like you do a sourdough starter. I don't know, I just assumed. So here and now, in what I must assume is my absolute worst video yet, I'd like to issue a formal apology to the unknown, unnamed kindergarten teacher whom I doubted a year ago. And I'd like to do it in the form of a macaroni card, as I believe is your custom. So if you'd like to see someone do a good job of this, I strongly recommend The Contoured Librarian. She's on TikTok, and she does an absolutely brilliant job. She's an early childhood educator and also a librarian, as the title implies. And she has done this a couple years running. She does progress update videos. She's got dozens of them. They're very good, unlike mine and me. So even though I ran an experiment which produced an outcome counter to the initial video, that didn't disprove the initial video. I exercised very poor methodology, as I have explained. Now I could have framed and edited this video as a simple debunk. I could have grabbed one of the many Pumpkin Jack videos, probably one with not very many followers and not very many views, and edited it down and just put that up against me opening the big gross bucket and said, look, it doesn't work. TikTok bad, Gen Z dumb, the downfall of society and critical thought, meow, 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 meow. But that would have been dishonest. So let it be known that I think deliberately misleading people is a stinky, smelly thing to do. So friends, netizens, My fellow dorks and dweebs, I'm gonna do it again. And you know, right this time. And for the record, I expect it to work. Part 2 this time next year. Oh, but the next video is gonna be a real banger. I'm absolutely confident of it. I don't want to spoil too much, but the working title is Arthropod, more like Arthrobod. Make of that what you will.